The photography show is an exhibition that takes place here in the UK and has been doing so for the last decade. And I've been to every single one of them. And in this video, I want to give you 3 reasons why you should consider going to a show like the photography show in wherever it is that you live. And one reason, which is a little secret as to how you can walk away with more money than you spent on the ticket. Let's do it.
Or ginger beer strong.
And why am I talking about the photography show? Well, watching videos on YouTube is great. You get to learn a lot and see a lot of different content, but after a while, it starts to feel samey. So for me, going to an in-person event is a fantastic, and I mean a fantastic way to mingle with people, look at new products, and come out with some fresh ideas for maybe YouTube or photography in general. Every time I go to the photography show, I feel like I'm a little kid who's been let loose with unlimited time on TikTok.
TikTok sensation.
I think that is the equivalent of letting a kid loose in a candy shop in 2024, I think. But I feel excited, right? And the reason I feel excited is because I get to play with all of the new gear. The Osmo Pocket 3, the A9 Mark III, the 300mm f2.8 from Sony, brand new lenses from Laowa, these third-party accessory manufacturers. You know, everyone is there and you get to have a field day. Now, I managed to get my hands on all the things that I wanted to get my hands on, and that was fantastic. Fujifilm had a massive stand, and they had a dedicated area for the Instax 99, the Polaroid camera that they've just released with lots of new features and filters that you can just take out the box and start shooting with. So I played with that. That was fantastic. I then went over to Sony, who had everything that I wanted and more. The A9 III, they had the 300 f2.8, they had the 24 to 50 f2.8 that I wanted to play with, that every YouTuber has and is telling me is fantastic, and I got to play around with it. It was great. And this is one of the biggest benefits. You get to play with all the kit without having to buy the kit. You could be a YouTuber in that little space for 24 hours and get to play with things, get to experiment with things, see what really works with your setup, and not have to buy it. It's great. On top of all the first-party manufacturers, there were a lot of third-party manufacturers there as well. My favorite one was Laowa, who had their zero distortion 10mm lens. I got to take it around for a little whiz, and it was fantastic. I could really hold my camera, I would say, there, and you could see me and everything else behind me. It was great. And so for me, that was probably the best third-party stand that I wanted to go to. There were a lot of other ones as well, but that was at the top for me. The second cool thing about going to a photography show or a convention like this is that all of the first-party manufacturers bring their ambassadors to do talks. And I mean, these people are full-time photographers. Not your average Joe Blogs on YouTube with 1 million subscribers or less, right? Who are just doing YouTube reviews and not really dipping their toes in professional photography. These people who are giving talks do photography day in, day out, whether it's landscape, whether it's wedding, whether it's animal portraiture, ooh, that's a new thing there, portraiture, animal photos, what landscape, whatever, wildlife, that's a better way of putting animals. But all of these people who are talking about these specific fields do that full time. So I really pay attention to what they have to say, because they don't really go on YouTube and give their expertise. Well, at least not all of them do anyway. So that's a fantastic reason to go to these in-person events, because you're going to speak to, or you're going to hear from a lot of people who you just don't normally hear from. Now, remember at the beginning of the video, I said that you could walk away with more money than you spend on the ticket. Not only do all of the camera manufacturers have massive stands, but all the big printing manufacturers have stands at this event as well. You see where I'm going with this? So every year, I take my top 10 to 15 photos that I've taken in that past year on a little drive, full size on my phone as well. I tried to keep few different copies of it. And I go to all of these printing manufacturers and print a few of them. Fuji nicely let me print about 15 smaller versions, fine, but I get to see what some of my photos look like, which I haven't printed before. Oh, that's a good one. But anyway, that's one thing. But the little secret is if you go to these events and you stay there till the end of the evening, when they're closing, about half an hour before, and you go to some of these stands, they will let you print your work in a full size. And I mean, this is A3, but I've seen people and myself sometimes walk away with A2 of my own work. Not just some random people's work, my own work. How cool is that? And not only this, but if you get a bit cozy with some of these people who are printing pretty much all day, every day, you'll get to print a few different qualities as well. You can print it on matte, glossy, try a few different sizes, mix and match, black and white maybe, even if you are trying to be out there. But yeah, it's great. You get to print some stuff, which I know a lot of you don't do. And it's so important. It's really, really important to print your stuff because you really get to see it in full size and what it's actually meant to look like in real life. It looks beautiful, pretty. That's mine. It's on sale. If you want it, I can send you a print. Comment down below. And isn't that wonderful? You get to go and see some of the most beautiful, wonderful people who talk about camera, whose job is to just take photos day in, day out. You get to play with all of the latest and greatest equipment, speak to the people who are dedicated and passionate about making these items for you, as well as take some prints home so you can figure out how your work looks in real life. Those are my 3 reasons why I go to the photo show. I have a few more, but I think these are the ones that really stand out for me. And so if you haven't been to an in-person event in a long time, I know some of you haven't left your house since COVID 2019, just do it. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one.